Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Ponzi.
Good evening! Today I'm proud to introduce the best investment in America. A genius arbitrage using simple postage international reply coupons. All I do is buy them cheaply in Europe, sell them high in the US, and make all of us millionaires. So start giving me your money and I promise a 50% return in less than 2 months. Trust me and join the Ponzi party!
Our story takes us back to Italy at the beginning of the 20th century. Charismatic Charles Ponzi, who just promised us a financial utopia, was born in 1882 in Lugo, a small town in northern Italy. Ponzi grew up in a setting far removed from the glittering promises of his future schemes. His family, once wealthy, had lost their fortune, leaving young Charles in a world straddling the remnants of past wealth and the realities of a modest upbringing. In these humble beginnings, Ponzi developed a longing for the prosperity his family once knew. His early life was marked not by wealth, but by respectability and a sense of tradition. However, young Ponzi's aspirations soared beyond the cobblestone streets of his hometown. Influenced by tales of the American dream, he craved to reclaim the lost glory of his family. Ponzi's journey into adulthood took him to the University of Rome, where the allure of academic life quickly faded, overshadowed by the vibrant pulse of city life. Here, Ponzi found himself more at home in cafes and bars than in lecture halls, mingling with friends who viewed university as a playground for the wealthy rather than a place of learning. It was a life of fun and silliness, but beneath the surface, Ponzi's financial struggles grew ever more apparent. Struggling with money, unlike his rich friends, Ponzi soon found himself at a crossroads. With his studies incomplete and his pockets empty, he faced a harsh truth: his dreams of brilliance in Italy were fading. It was during these moments of reflection that Ponzi's gaze turned westward, towards a land of opportunity, a land where fortunes were made, America. And so, at the age of 21, with a mixture of hope and desperation, Charles Ponzi embarked on a journey that would eventually etch his name into the annals of history. In November 1903, Ponzi landed on American soil with a ridiculous sum of $2.5, less than $90 in 2024. He lost his life savings in gambling during the sale. The land of opportunity greeted him with the harsh realities of struggle and survival. He found himself washing dishes in a Boston restaurant where the glamour of life in Italy seemed like a distant memory. He slept on the kitchen floor, and each day blended into the next in a relentless cycle of hard work. Ponzi's unyielding ambition led him quickly to the waiter position, where he innovated in ways his employer failed to appreciate. He was overcharging customers and pocketing the difference to himself. This creative approach to entrepreneurship resulted in a swift dismissal, becoming the first chapter in his problematic American journey. Ponzi moved to Montreal, Canada, and found a job at Banco Zerossi, a small bank that was serving Italian immigrants. The bank, promising unusually high interest rates, was an early glimpse into the world of financial manipulation for Ponzi. He discovered that the unusual interest the bank offered was paid to old customers with the investments of the new ones.
What? This is exactly a Ponzi scheme.
Yes, it is. And shortly you will be amazed at the reason why this old scheme, invented decades before Ponzi was even born, was eventually named after our crazy genius. But before that, if you made it up to this moment, please like and subscribe to support us so we can come up with many more great economic history stories every week. Thank you. So Zerossi was caught and the bank collapsed. It was a dramatic moment for Ponzi. He found himself unemployed in a foreign land, and in a misguided attempt to reclaim control, Ponzi forged a check and was subsequently caught. He was convicted and sent to 3 years in prison, bearing in his mind the Zerossi scam that made him a very rich man in Mexico, where he fled to. Upon his release in 1911, Ponzi returned to Boston and tried to restart his life. He got married and engaged in various business ventures. One of them was a trade magazine for importers and exporters. This venture also failed to ignite, leaving Ponzi in a familiar state of financial distress. But then, in a twist of fate, Ponzi received a letter from a Spanish company that was interested in his magazine. A letter that would make history due to one innocent piece of paper that was attached to it: an international reply coupon. Our story now veers into an extraordinary twist. Charles Ponzi, holding a worthless ordinary international reply coupon, saw a gateway to immense wealth. These IRCs, a postal innovation designed for international communication, were priced based on the postage cost in the country of purchase. And here's the catch: in post-World War I Europe, especially in Italy, rampant inflation had devalued currencies, making these coupons cheap to buy. Ponzi's clever scheme was purchasing these coupons in Europe at a fraction of their cost and exchanging them for U.S. stamps, which could be sold at a much higher value in America. It was a classic example of arbitrage, turning market inefficiencies into potential profits of over 400%, even after accounting for expenses and exchange rates. Brilliant. Now, before we continue, all of you probably heard about the Ponzi scheme, but I'm wondering how many of you knew that it all started with innocent postal international reply coupons. Let me know in the comments. I'm eager to see your answers. In January 1920, Ponzi launched the Securities Exchange Company to fund this venture. His pitch to the public was irresistible: double your money in just 90 days. The first month saw modest beginnings, with 18 investors contributing $1,800, around $30,000 in today's money. Not a big deal. But as initial investors quickly doubled their money, the floodgates opened. By February to March, investments leaped from $5,000 to $25,000, about $370,000 in today's terms. By May, Ponzi's takings swelled to $420,000, equivalent to over $6 million today. And by July, his daily intake was a staggering $1 million, about $15 million in modern currency. It sounds crazy, but compared to the paltry 5% annual interest from banks, Ponzi's promise of 100% returns in 3 months was irresistibly enticing. Only a few chose to withdraw. And why would they do it when they could reinvest for even greater returns? People were even taking loans and mortgaging homes to invest more. Ponzi's once modest office transformed into a bustling financial hub, drawing in everyone from newspaper boys to Boston's elite, including nearly 75% of the city's police force. Ponzi's lifestyle turned lavish, his newfound wealth evident in his mansion, luxurious cars, and extravagant parties. He was living the American dream and kept his promise to return his family's wealth and honor, and everyone lived happily ever after.
Are you serious?
Well, maybe they didn't. Remember Banco Zarasi? Similarly, Ponzi's financial empire was built on shaky ground. The influx of cash was the sole lifeline of his scheme, not real profits. It was merely a cycle of using the money from new investors to pay the old while cutting extreme profits to himself. A ticking time bomb, or to be more accurate, a Ponzi scheme. But why didn't Ponzi's plan work? He really had the perfect arbitrage strategy. I mean it, the plan was genius and even legal. Well, all is true on paper, but the reality was far different. Consider these questions. Where would he find millions of coupons? How many coupons the post office of Lugo, his hometown, could have held in stock? Well, I have no idea, but I'm 100% sure that less than 1,000, definitely not tens of millions. And assuming he could, how would he ship tons of coupons to the US? And most critically, after exchanging them for US stamps, who would buy such a colossal quantity of stamps? The sheer logistics and costs rendered Ponzi's plan impractical. It was like finding a small gap in Bitcoin prices across exchanges, only to realize transaction fees nullify the profit. Ponzi's plan, while theoretically sound perfect, was impossible in practice. In the soaring summer of 1920, the winds of fortune began to shift. Skepticism crept in as financial experts examined Ponzi's operation. How could he sustain such astronomical returns? The numbers didn't add up. A Boston Post investigation and a few astute financial analysts began to unravel the intricate web of deceit Ponzi had woven. They revealed the staggering truth: the returns were funded not by profit, but by the influx of new investors' money. Ponzi's empire, a dazzling house of cards, was set to collapse. The revelation hit like a thunderbolt. Investors, once blinded by greed, now clamored for their money. The Securities Exchange Company, overwhelmed and underfunded, crumbled under the pressure. Once a beacon of easy wealth, Ponzi's scheme was exposed as one of the most notorious scams in economic history. Charles Ponzi, the mastermind behind this elaborate ruse, faced the inevitable. In August 1920, he was arrested, marking the end of his fraudulent escapade. The legal battles were swift and unforgiving. Ponzi was charged with multiple counts of fraud and sentenced to prison. The aftermath of the Ponzi scheme was catastrophic. Thousands of investors, many of whom had poured in their life savings, were left with nothing but bitter regret. The financial fallout was immense, shaking the foundations of investor confidence. Ponzi's scandal served as a stark reminder of the perils of greed and the importance of due diligence in investment. Ponzi's legacy, however, lived on in a term that became synonymous with financial fraud: the Ponzi scheme. His story is a cautionary tale, a testament to the age-old adage that if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed our video about Charles Ponzi, who will ever be remembered in the annals of economic history. Maybe not for the reasons he would have dreamed of, but still, this stupid genius left such a mark that his name will probably be remembered forever. Many conclusions can be taken from this story, but for me, the most important one is to be a little bit less greedy and flee to Mexico after making the first few millions. If you like it, tell your friends, and if not, tell me. I invite you to subscribe, like, and share to support the channel, and mostly to comment with your thoughts, ideas, fact corrections, and any other economic event from history that you'd like me to explore together with you. Economic Rhapsody. Thank you for watching. See you soon.